Following is a paid program. Advice and opinions expressed during the program are solely that of Jung Garden Center, not WBEV 95X or Good Karma Brands. And once again, we welcome into the studio on Daily Dodge Video as well as WBEV, Dick Zondag. Good morning, Dick. Is Dick there? Well, let's see. Do we have... He should be on remote one. I punched it up. All right. Where is he? All right. He should be there. Are you there, Dick? Or maybe they put him over on remote two. Are you there, Dick? We are having some technical issues here. Again, 885-4446 is the number to go. Do we have Dick now? No, we do not. We will take a quick break and be back in just a moment. Hopefully we'll make contact with Mission Control.
When you see a family medicine and OB provider at Prairie Ridge Health in Columbus or Beaver Dam, you'll notice right away that you're not just a number. Prairie Ridge Health is focused on you, providing the highest quality care with compassion for you and your baby throughout your pregnancy and delivery. Physicians, nurses, and the entire team really takes the time to listen to you and are privileged to be a part of one of the most significant events in your life. Prairie Ridge Health accepts over 70 major insurances, including Dean. Learn more at prairieridge.health. Prairie Ridge Health in Columbus and Beaver Dam, where your care is inspired by you.
Want to save even more at Fleet Farm? Well, now you can with Fleet Rewards. It's free to sign up and there's no credit card required. Using Fleet Rewards is easy. Earn points every time you shop. Plus, get exclusive member offers, birthday and anniversary perks, free tire rotations, and more. Download the Fleet Farm app or create an account at fleetfarm.com/rewards to start earning points today. Fleet Farm, proudly serving the Midwest since 1955.
Don't stop going to the dentist. For about $1 a day, dental insurance from Physicians Mutual Insurance Company can help pay for more than 350 covered procedures. Everything from cleanings and fillings to crowns and dentures.
Learn more about your dental insurance options with a call to Hire Insurance, 920-887-0580. You can choose any dentist and not be obligated to an annual or lifetime max with no deductible. Hire Insurance, your local Physicians Mutual agent.
From the Metalcraft Studios, you're listening to AM 1430 WBEV, streaming online at dailydodge.com.
All right, again, we're having some issues with our transmission here, getting to Dick Zondag down in our video pit. Are you there, Dick?
Check 1, 2.
Yeah, we've got Kale. I hear Kale. So I'm thinking Dick can't be too far behind.
Hello, John.
There we are. Do we have a winner?
I think we do.
Oh.
Winner chicken dinner, right?
All right, now we are set indeed.
Okay.
Well, let's see, Dick, after an inauspicious start here, tell us what's happening at the store these days.
Okay, well, things are starting to move at the garden centers. We've got pretty much everything going. We've got the berry nursery is winding down a little bit, but we had some extra roses from our catalog sale, so we put them out in the bare root room, and they're $7 each and 10 for $5 each. So if you want to get a rose bed in, we've got roses at really good prices, and of course there's no guarantee with that price, but all the varieties that anybody could want. So if you're a rose lover and you want some roses for cheap, we're selling them out. Probably going to be done this weekend, so if you want them, come over. There are a few fruit trees left in the bare root room also, but our potted nursery is open wide, and everything is going well. And hopefully with the frost gone now, vegetable plants can be planted out. I brought along some of the annuals that we sell, marigolds, snapdragons, ageratum, verbena, and then I also brought some of the grasses that we sell. People have been really breeding the grasses, and so you've got variegated grasses that are yellow and white and green and red and green and all sorts of things, along with some of the ground cover sedums that are variegated. The one that I've got here is white and green variegated, but there's also sort of a pinkish variety, and then of course a juga, which is a ground cover. You get really, really beautiful contrast with the ground covers. And then our Dracaena spikes are not just green. We have green and red, and we have very shiny leaf Dracaena. So if you're planting a container, you could use those in the center for your accent plant, and then some of the super bells or the smaller. They look like petunias, but they're much smaller and much more prolific, and they also crawl and over the hanging baskets, so they look really nice. So got a lot of really different things. I brought some coral bells along, coral bells with red, green, white, and then some red and green leaves, and then they also get flowers. So lots of things to see, and some really unusual perennials, not just ordinary perennials that you find in other stores. So because we have the catalog called Roots and Rhizomes, it has a lot of the newest varieties, and so we not only use them in that catalog, but we also bring them out for our garden center customers, so they have the prettiest gardens in the world.
And again, our number is 885-4446, 885-4446 if you want to get on the air with the Garden Doctor. Now is a great time to call. We usually have to eliminate callers at the end of the show because we get a little backed up. So if you have a question, call now. But boy, did we people kind of held their breath the last couple, 3 nights with these lows that we got overnight.
Yeah, in fact, I went out and covered my strawberries with blankets.
Wow.
You know, the early glow, which is the earliest variety, was in full bloom, and so I didn't want to lose the crop on that because we have some beautiful plants in our backyard, and so I just put a blanket over them. A blanket comes off today, and hopefully I can put it away and not worry about it again. But those strawberries are going to taste really good in 4 to 6 weeks, which is the amount of time it takes for them to go from blossoms into fruit. So we still have strawberry plants available, and I think there are some raspberries also that you can still purchase. Potatoes and onion plants and onion sets and asparagus also, you know, it's time to get those in.
All right.
So, you know, with the weather the way it is,
Yeah.
I think hopefully it's smooth going from here because I saw on the weather the other night that the last frost is supposed to be May 4th, and now we're on a little bit beyond that. So hopefully the weather is changing now so that we'll get some warmer weather, and then we'll dream about those days when it was cool outside.
That's right.
So you have to take what you get.
Yeah, we do have a couple callers waiting to hear from you, Dick. Let's go to the phones. You're on the air with Dick Zondag of Jung Garden Center.
Okay.
Good morning.
Go ahead. You're on the air.
Good morning. Say, about a year and a half ago, I split my rhubarb, like you're saying you should do, when it was starting to get seedy.
Right.
And that was a year and a half ago. Now this year already, I've got a lot of seeds on it.
Okay, what I would suggest doing is putting some compost or well-rotted manure or maybe a garden fertilizer, because rhubarb's a heavy feeder, and if it's low in nutrients, it's still going to throw those seed heads out. And usually when you divide it, those seed heads are 2 or 3 years down the road. Are the leaves nice and large and the stalks big?
Yeah, pretty good size, yeah.
Oh,
And
really?
it's really pretty good rhubarb what's there.
Okay. Well, I guess just fertilize it because you're eating the vegetative part of the plant, so putting a little extra nitrogen in there might put that plant back into a less adult form, and just keep cutting those seed heads off because they're going to take away from the plant. So I guess that's all I can tell you.
Would you use like a 10-10-10?
If you use a 10-10-10, go very sparingly.
Okay.
You know, usually I do use 10-10-10 in my plan, but what I do is when I'm composting, I use 10-10-10 in the compost pile, and that really makes the microorganisms that do the decomposition work really fast, and then when you're adding it back to your garden, it's coming back in a more organic form, less available. Triple 10 is a very readily available fertilizer, but for most plants, it's not something that you want to use. Maybe on asparagus, sweet corn, a little bit on the onions, but and the rhubarb, you can use some of it on that also.
Okay.
Okay?
Yep, thanks.
Thank you for your call. 885-4446-1920. 885-4446, the number to get on the air with Dick Zondag of Jung Garden Center in Randolph. What about pruning? Is there anything you can prune right now?
We've got a plant that flowers before the end of June, and it hasn't flowered yet. Don't prune it because it's still going to flower. But with most of the early flowering things, they're gone already, and so you can start pruning them. Or if it's like anything that flowers after the 1st of July, you can prune those anytime. A lot of the spireas are that way, and you can cut them down to like a foot from the ground if they're small. If they're quite large, then you want to take half of the plant out right now and then let it resprout, and then the second half you take out next spring.
All right, let's go to the phones. You're on the air with Dick Zondag.
Yes, I bought a Harlequin maple. I think that's the name of it from you
Right.
years ago.
Right.
And in the fall, well, before the fall, in about August, it starts to get brown all around the edges of the leaves.
Right.
Is that natural, or?
Yes. When plants are getting into the late summer, early fall, they're pulling nutrients back out of the leaves to go back into the plant itself. So when it drops the leaves, it doesn't lose all the nutrients. And one of the byproducts of that is the leaves start to turn a little brown around the edges, and the leaves start to look a little peaked. That's natural. One thing I want to tell you with Harlequin, if you get a green sprout in that tree, be sure you cut it out because the green will take over. And because the Harlequin is a mutation from Norway maple, it grows a little slower than what the green would grow. So I've seen Harlequin maples where they didn't do that, and over maybe 10 years, the variegated part of the tree is less than the green. So that's the only warning I'd have with the Harlequin. But yes, fertilize it good around the drip line of the tree, and it will reward you.
Okay, I have another question. I bought a planter last year, and I put a couple tomato plants in it, and I bought the sod, or not sod, but the planting soil, and
Okay.
I put it in there. But
Right.
when the tomatoes come up, they get all black blight on the bottom. Do you need some fertilizer, or what's the problem?
You're probably watering a little too much because the blight starts when they have a lot of extra moisture and the leaves don't dry out in the morning. And that's the way that diseases start. You know, the spores are little seeds without any storage tissue in them. And so if they germinate in the dew or in the moisture that you put in those containers, if they germinate and the leaves don't dry out before 10 o'clock in the morning, that little germ tube gets into the leaf, and then you've got the diseases. If you see that happening, it's probably a good idea to get out there with scissors and cut those leaves off and hide them in your garbage or put them in your garden, bury them in your garden. Because that disease will spread from leaf to leaf from the bottom leaves up.
Okay, well, the tomatoes get all black on the bottom.
Oh, the tomatoes.
Yeah.
Okay, what you want to do with that's called blossom end rot. Put a little calcium in the soil. A little lime, any kind of lime would help with that.
All right.
Okay?
Okay, thank you.
Thanks
Bye.
for calling.
All right, thank you for your call. 885-4446 is the number to get on the idea exchange. The number to get on
it is
the
an
garden
idea exchange,
doctor.
isn't it?
It is an idea exchange, indeed.
Yes.
And we do have another caller. Our line is open. Let's go to the phones. You're on the air with Dick Zondag.
Good morning. I was wondering, how do you deseed the chive plants? Do you just pull that little seed off the top or cut?
Flower stalk, you just cut that off as close to the crown as you can.
All right. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. 885-4446-1920. 885-4446. And we do have another caller checking in, and you are on the air with Dick. Go right ahead.
So I've got some ash trees where the bark is starting to come off, but it is leafing out.
Okay.
Are these trees savable yet with a chemical, or are they going to eventually die no matter what?
Is the bark loose from the tree?
Yes.
Okay.
Not the whole tree, but there's parts of the tree where the bark is loose, and there's parts that it's actually coming off already.
Okay. Yeah. No. That bark probably in that area is probably not going to grow back, because if it's loose from the tree, that means the cambium area is dead. The chemical will still keep the emerald ash borer away. And what happens with those particular areas, if the tree is healthy, you should prune the loose bark off, because that's where insects get in and they can start rotting the wood. If it's not too big of an opening, as the tree grows, the cambium will just kind of crawl over that open area and fill it in.
Okay. This chemical, is that going to be done every year, or is it just one time and it's done?
Oh, no. I think it's every year or every other year. What you've got to do is read the label, and that's what I tell people, too, when they pick up a pesticide. The only way that it's legal to use that pesticide is with the label instructions. And so the label instructions will tell you with that, it's the product is called the tree and shrub insect killer. You have to read the label, and it tells you exactly how much of the chemical you have to add to the water that you're putting around the tree per inch of circumference, I think it is. Or it might be diameter, but it'll tell you in there how much of the chemical you have to add, and then you put it in the water, and then you sprinkle around the tree right where the trunk meets the root system. It's called where the buttress roots are. And then it takes it up, and it's getting very close to the time when you've got to have it done. So if you're going to do it in the springtime, now's the time you got to do it. It's better when it's done either in the fall or in the very early spring before the leaves start coming out.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you.
You bet.
All right, thank you. This is the Garden Doctor on WBEV. We invite your calls at 885-4446. And let's go to the phones. You're on the air with the Garden Doctor.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I got a question. I had a big garden last year of vegetables, and every single beet was chewed off all over the top. And I asked people what was in it. I never saw anything in my garden, no rabbit or whatever. And some people told me that it could be robins, and some people told me it might be voles or moles.
No, I don't think it's either one of those, because robins don't eat leaves; they eat worms.
Yeah.
It probably was a rabbit or another rodent, and they feed mainly at night when people aren't up, and so I think that's probably what it was.
Do you think mothballs would do it?
Yeah, there are repellents that you can use: dried blood, moth crystals, tobacco dust. And there are repellents that you can put in the garden too, but I would bet you that if the leaves were eaten off, it was probably
not the leaves. Nope, just the beet itself.
Oh, just the beet itself.
Yep. The leaves are fine. That's why I didn't even notice anything until. And I have them in several different gardens, and every beet was chewed on. Every single beet.
Well, that sounds like a soil insect, like cutworms or...
this was it was chewed on. You could see the teeth marks.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Just where it's above ground?
Chewed on.
Where it was above ground?
Above ground, yep.
Yeah. Then it might still be rabbits. I don't know. I I
They
don't know
didn't
that
eat
I've ever
anything
heard
else,
of
like
that.
my beans or anything else, or cabbage or they didn't touch anything else, just the beets.
Just the beets. Well, they're particular in what they eat, that's for sure.
Could they be coyotes, Dick?
I doubt if it's coyotes.
We have them. We have coyotes
Yeah,
here.
I know. I have one too. In fact, I was sitting in my house yesterday afternoon with this nice picture window overlooking the nursery, and what comes up running through the backyard? A fox.
Yeah, we have fox too.
Yeah, the fox. He went up on my on my strawberry mound, and then smelled around there a little bit, and then went into the container nursery. So yeah, I think they're getting to be more and more predators like that around.
They're not as they're more eager to come up closer.
Yeah,
to
they're
the
not as
building.
shy as they used to
Yeah.
be. They
Not
they come
squeamish
up
anymore,
around.
yeah.
I mean, I don't mind the fox, but the coyotes, I'm
Yeah,
not so.
we have chickens, and they can
Yeah.
must smell them for a ways.
Yeah.
They yipe around our buildings.
Yeah, you can hear them at night. That's
yeah,
for sure.
Okay,
No,
well,
I don't know
then
what to tell you. I guess maybe if the roots are coming up out of the ground, which they do as they mature,
Yeah.
maybe put a little dirt on top of them. Mound the dirt up around them. Maybe that'll keep them away.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yep. Thank you.
Yep.
All right. Thank you for your call. Let's go to the other line. You're on the air with the Garden Doctor.
Hello?
Good
Go ahead,
morning.
you're on the air.
Yep.
Okay. I got pear trees. Last year they were just loaded with pears, and this year there wasn't hardly a blossom on them.
Yep.
What's the problem? Fertilizer? Or?
No. What happens is pears, especially pears, but some apples do it too. They go into what's called a cyclic fruiting habit, and what they do is they fruit themselves to death 1 year, and then the next year they don't set much fruit. And so the way that you get around that is around July 1, if you've got a lot of fruit on the tree, get in there with a pruning shears or just rake them out, but thin the fruit down. Because a tree, if it's depleted of carbohydrates, it won't set any flowers in the fall. And then the next year it grows like crazy, and it has a lot of carbohydrates, and so it sets a lot of flowers in the fall. So the way you get it out of that is you got to reduce the amount of fruit in a tree the years that they fruit heavily, and that way they'll become more annual producers instead of biennial.
Okay. Yep. Thank you.
Yep, thanks for calling.
All right, and we got time for one more call. Let's go to our caller. You're on the air with Dick Zondag.
Hi, Dick. Hey, I'm just tuning in. Hey, my garlic is up now, which I planted last year. Can I put some fertilizer around that yet, or what do you suggest?
Yeah, regular garden fertilizer would be good because it's in the onion family. It has a very poor root system, and you want the tops to grow so that they make a nice big bulb. It usually takes 2 years in this area to get a really nice sized bulb, although it depends on the season too. If it's really hot and you got a lot of nice moisture and stuff, it might make it in 1 year, but most of the time garlic takes a couple of years. And then what you do is when you dig them up, if you want to, maybe I shouldn't tell you this, but you just peel some of the cloves off and replant them in the fall, and that way you can keep your garlic going, especially if it's a variety that you like.
Okay. I bought some of that Osmocote or whatever it was from you guys this last week. Is that something that I can kind of mix in around the plants? Or
Yep, you can mix that in, but you don't want to just put it on top because those plastic pellets that they're in will, the sun will break them down, and they'll.
Okay, I need to work them in just a little bit.
Yeah,
then.
just mix them in with the soil down about an inch or so.
Okay.
And then they'll do what they're supposed to do, and that's.
All right.
Fertilized over a period of time because every time it rains, then it leaches a little bit of fertilizer out of that pellet and gives the plant a nice, even amount of fertility.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
Okay, thanks for calling.
All right, thank you for your call. We have exhausted calls for today. Dick, once again, what's happening at the store?
Well, the annuals and the vegetable plants are all in the greenhouse right now. We're bringing out the perennials. I brought some coral bells and some sedums and different things, grasses. There's just a myriad of ornamental grasses that you can plant that look really nice. They have foliage all summer long, and some of them have a very nice plume in the fall. Annuals, marigolds, petunias, the super bells, snapdragons, ageratum, they're all looking really nice. I also brought some of the profusion zinnias. They really make a very nice ground cover. They don't get big, and they just flower all summer long. And then coleus for the shade. There's so many different colors of coleus now. The one I brought along is bright red, and when it's in a container out in the sunlight, it's just really, really red. We also have cleaned our coolers out of roses for this week until after the weekend. We have bare root roses, $7 each, or 10 for $5 each. So if you want to plant a rose garden, we have them, and you're not going to get a better price. Of course, there's no guarantee with those, but they're lively plants, and they'll do very well for you. Container nursery is open. We've got lots of hanging baskets, so we've got everything going for us right now. So time to come in and get your garden planted. Of course, our seed wall have a lot of vacancies, but we still have enough variety of things that you can get a really nice garden this summer.
All right. And your hours?
In Randolph, it's 8 to 5 Monday through Friday, 8 to 4 on Saturday, and of course we're closed on Sunday in Randolph. The garden centers in Madison, Stevens Point, and Sun Prairie, it's 8:30 to 6:30 Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 5 on Saturday, and 10 to 3 on Sunday.
All right. As always, thank you for enlightening us on gardening, and we'll talk to you next week.
Thank you, John.
All right. Then that will do it for today's program. The preceding was a paid program. Advice and opinions expressed during the program are solely that of Jung Garden Center, not WBEV, 95X, or Good Karma brands.